Hello and welcome to Rabbit Hole Research. I am Chevy Cool Lady, bring you hot topics and history's mysteries. Today we are diving down the deep hole called Cabbage Grown Kids and links to genetic editing. Let's dive right in.
Join me as we delve down this rabbit hole. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box below and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Alice Guy. She was known for her creative and innovative style. Wiki credits her for her experimental approach to audio, color, and interracial staffing. Apparently she had hundreds of lost films, but one that survives now is her remake to Le Faux Shoe or the Cabbage Fairy. Supposedly she got the idea while walking down to Montmartre. She passed a boutique filled with live baby incubators at an exposition. This is also an interesting note.
Alice Guy played the role of caregiver or authority over the babies and also played a part in the distribution as well.
Alice Guy was the first woman film director and interestingly the first with a film that tells a story. A narrative film. Was her work telling us a deeper story than a whimsical and weird story about human genesis? Inspired by tiny cinched-in-the-middle babies, created her first narrative about a cabbage fairy who was essentially the guardian of the cabbage seeds and also played a role in distributing these babies, from what I can gather. Her art was inspired, so the narrative goes, by passing a storefront full of babies in incubators. A baby incubator boutique was the custom in those days. What if the few in the adult population bracket had to tend to the tiny population? That was enormous. In numbers and needs. What if they chose and picked from the human farms all they could handle for whatever purposes they intended? What if there were so many, they called in for help? They searched the world, but the world was full of CRISPR, C.B.G babies. Is art reflecting humanity's plight? Cabbage babies may have been used for more than just cheap labor. The weak, ugly, or ill may have met with another fate. These again, are just thoughts. Conclusions I have drawn and presented in this format. What are your thoughts? Please comment in the comment box and don't forget to like and subscribe. Sometimes whimsical and sometimes weird. Alice Guy seemed to be conveying a message. The children are seen displayed in odd ways. This shows little cabbages with baby heads in them, and from what I gather the little apple puffs are being sold cheap. But my French is rusty. If you can offer a better translation, please put it in the comment box below. There seems to be a multitude of children. Couples are pictured picking out their babies. One says, "Is this the world?" The other answers, "I don't know." I came in the cabbage. Genetic engineers have long been able to separate the genetic coding that is the blueprints of life. With the development of CRISPR, the genetic fishing has become available to prospective parents. The genes are edited whereby desirable genes replace the undesirable genes. The editor gene, the scissors, used to splice is a gene called CBG. Could an acronym be cabbage? Could this really be a link to the antique art portraying children in cabbages? Are these gene-edited children? An experiment gone awry in the 1800s? Is that why there were so many surplus children around the world at this time?
Incubator babies could equal CRSPR genetically edited children. The cabbage referring to the artificial womb or the CBR splicing gene. Just a few thoughts gathered from my research. What are your thoughts?
If you think the technology is new, you may be surprised to find that the project that made all this possible is at least 60 years old. Could it be older? Dating back into the fishing in the gene pool for our perfect species? Then the question next would have to be, perfect for what? Perfect to behold, perfect in features, perfect intellectually, perfect immune systems. What if your idea was to perfect evil? Perfect for killing. Like the perfect son. Can this be done genetically? I guess the experiments will show us. But will we survive? The CBG is the guardian of the genetic system, like a cabbage fairy, and releases an indicator if there is chromosomal damage present. This is done in neonatal stages to allow the parents to choose if continuing the pregnancy is going to happen. They can also determine the baby's sex and genetic features. So, is eye color a good reason to terminate the embryo? What do you think? Please comment in the comment box. I would love to hear your responses. Thanks. Good babies, with desired traits, are manufactured and chosen by eager parents. But what about the undesirable children containing unwanted, undesirable traits? Let's suspend reality, or what we think is reality, for just a moment. Let's say genetic engineering was a way of life at a certain point in history. Let's say something happened to our race. Some cataclysmic event that rocked the world and only a few survived. What if their ability to recreate was diminished? What if technology allowed the few to repopulate a depleted world? What if things were a lot stranger than they expected? What if a science experiment lost its control? What would it all look like? Genetically edited children? Clones or manufactured babies? Cloned in the cabbage and put up for sale. Surplus children advertised and displayed in storefronts. Beautiful couples capturing their baby. Look, there is one under a dome. A dome, really? Is there a hidden message? Hidden in plain sight. We do not know why it was the custom. Other than the fact that the medical profession was taking over home births and seemed in the process of making sure these infants were watched over by what the narrative calls a hygienic staff. There seems to be a tremendous number of babies, especially premature infants. The storefronts were full of them, and so were the exhibits at the Word Fair. Shopped and possibly shipped directly to you. Have a need for a young one? We have incubator babies grown for their genetic traits. Need a farmhand? We have strong ones. Does the wifey want a little girl? We have beautiful blue-eyed wonders. I hate to take this thought too far. But what about the surplus children? What about the bad ones? The ugly ones? The weak and infirmed? What do we do with the leftovers? I shudder to think.
Weird food references that are not really cute. Red-faced babies pictured seem to be upset also. What's with these bizarre farm-to-table correlations? Stuffed cabbage with baby stuffing? What in the tarnation is going on in these composite photos? Leave your thoughts in the box below. Little chicks and little controllers. Look at the hats, they seem to indicate who is in charge. Grade of farm fresh eggs/babies. Catch of the day. Again with the references to genetic preferences maybe. These are just ideas. Let me know what you think. So we see selection based on genetic strengths. So also selection to not allow life based on what is perceived as weakness or just simply the donor's choice brings up all kinds of ethical questions. Who gets to decide?
The potential for abuse runs rampant. Who knows what would happen to the unwanted children? I think that this is what all the ethical debates boil down to. Genetically altered and laboratory-raised children are in existence today in at least one lab in China. You can have your embryo edited in a process we call CRISPR, hence, CRISPR Kids. The technology is over 60 years old. The lab I mentioned illegal edited children in 2018 and the doctor was convicted, served time and released last year. So what is really going on? And for how long?
So what is really going on here? What are the messages in the art? Is our history much weirder than we were told? Perhaps we will never know, but let's not accept the narratives we are sold by the legacy media. Let's research and discuss all realms of possibilities. If nothing else, this is a safe place, people. Please leave me your ideas. I really want to hear from you. Let's build this community from the ground up. And protect the right to free speech as long as possible. Thanks for joining. See ya in the next video. Love ya lots.